Hello everybody, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Satisfactory. I played this game a little bit as an excuse to do something funny for a class project, and I have not played otherwise since, January, when I kind of left things. So I figured what better way to get back in to the game and get back in to the groove of things than to go on a little bit of a factory tour. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't actually remember exactly where everything is around here. I kind of remember a little bit of where things are and what I've done and what I've built and what I was going to do. I know what I'm going to do, but I don't really know where things are, and I feel like it would be beneficial for me and for you if we were to know where everything is. So what better place to start than right here at home in the big factory where all of our initial items were made, the starter base, so to speak, with an extra bit of copper right here that I don't actually remember putting these. I remember the concrete. I don't remember some of this. So it hasn't been a while just for you guys. It has also been a while for me as well. So here, kind of starting, not really so much at the hub, but starting over in our train hub, which is an adjacent building, we can see we have a lot of decoration work that is still not done and needs to get done. And we've got the hub. So where were we at in here? Oh. Okay, apparently I went on ahead and I unlocked literally everything in the entirety of the game. I know that we've already automated, like, time crystals and stuff, and superposition oscillators, neural quantum processors. I don't think I've placed a Blueprint Designer Mark III, but apparently I have that. We've got the satellites, or the satellites. We've got the portals ready to go. And then, of course, I've used Conveyor Belt Mark VI, so that's a fun thing. Oh, apparently I was scanning hard drives. I don't remember scanning hard drives, so I guess I was scanning hard drives. Do I have any in my inventory? I do! Okay. Where are we, though? Megafauna is complete. That makes sense. Alien tech, we're just missing the one that has the singularity cells, which I have not done. And sulfur. We're missing ionized fuel, so we're almost done with the MAM, I suppose. If I remember correctly, our storage hub has everything that we're making on site here, because it was a pre-dimensional depot consideration to have all of this. So yeah, we've got all of, like, the big items here, the easy early game items, and then also some later game, not later game, mid-game items. Crystal oscillators and such. These empty? These are not empty. These have aluminum stuff. That's okay. I don't know why they have aluminum stuff. But yeah, I remember us just kind of going down the line. So we did all the concrete, and then we did the iron, the copper, the caterium, which kind of comes around spaghetti, and then the steel, some more iron. Ah, this was the iron for the steel. I see. And then, yeah, black powder for weapons, more stuff, the trucks for the coal and the sulfur, because coal comes from over here. There's also some copper over here. Sulfur is here. And then there's another coal there. I don't really know why I didn't do sulfur, or not sulfur, caterium with a truck. Because, I mean, it's just a really big belt. It's not that much further to get to the coal and sulfur nodes and stuff. But anyway, I digress. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. Then all of the belts go up over there in that giant stack. And then we did space elevator parts. And we also got like power shards from slugs, bioprocessing for the jetpack. Yeah, all of our like smart plating, and I don't know what these are. What are you? Oh, you're automated miners, portable miners, so that I could do miners for no reason. Why do you have no items coming out of you? What? How did that happen? And how did I just now notice? Gosh, that has to have been like that for hours. Hundreds of hours, maybe. How did I... Aw? What? Okay, well, we're leaving it because it doesn't matter. We're absolutely leaving it because it does not matter. And then versatile framework, automated wiring. We used to have 2 of those, if I remember correctly. Some of those go up, right? No, not anymore, I guess. I think that was temporary for phase 4, mayhaps. And then we've got these things. I don't remember what these are called. High-speed connectors, computers, heavy modular frames, and then we've also got weapons production. And what are you? I don't remember what you are. Oh, you're packaged turbo fuel, which means you're turbo rifle ammo. I don't remember doing that. But apparently I have automated turbo rifle ammo now? And what's your problem? Fuel? Was I just, like, siphoning fuel? I guess I was. Okay. But we have the rest of weapons production here. We've got our... well, that's all for heavy modular frames right there. We've got explosive, rebar, rifle ammo, nobelisks, and cluster nobelisks. And then we've also got nuke nobelisks upstairs. I remember that. And then we also have gas mask filters and iodine filters too. And then on the final floor, even though I was planning another one, it got a little too FPS intensive around here. You can see us dipping below 30. We've got crystal oscillators, quartz crystals, silica, radio control units are somewhere around here, SAM fluctuators. What else do we have? What else? Aluminum casings and aluminum sheets, the iodine filters, and then we've got nuclear pasta, which I do have a plan for the nuclear pasta. So, singularity cells require nuclear pasta and dark matter crystals as an input, but dark matter crystals are not that hard. You can just do it straight from dark matter residue, which comes straight from SAM, which we have extra of, so that's an easy fix there. So I can just do dark matter residue, get the dark matter residue into a crystal, and then get the singularity cell from some extra iron plates and some concrete. And then I can power the miner, or the portals with those. The main portal. This guy. Wow, it's smaller than I thought it was gonna be. What would that be? Transport? Yeah. Singularity cells need to be supplied and will be consumed to establish and maintain the portal link. And it has massive power draws during startup and everything else. So, we are totally gonna end up doing that. Probably gonna end up shipping them via drones. I think I have batteries around somewhere. Yeah, right here I've got batteries. So I can take those batteries and just transport the singularity cells. I don't know entirely where. I'd probably transport them up here and have the main portals up here, because this is where we're going to be doing all of our Phase 5 processing in the dunes. So I can do that with the satellite portal, or the main portals, and then have the satellite portals at each of the subsequent factories that are going to supply that. And since we already have the nuclear pasta, it should be able to just work. And if I have to Sommersloop this, It's already somber slooped. So we're totally good there for sure. And then, yeah, nuke and obelisks, which apparently I am low on? A little low on. I don't remember being low on those. Ah, yes, the belt spaghetti. Cool, and then we've got the tier 2 and the space elevator right there. Wonderful, wonderful. So I figured we would just kind of go on a tour of the entire world. That's really all there is that this place has to offer. We've got our beautiful train intersection. Still super proud of that, genuinely. So let's take a bit of a trip. And honestly, I don't know if it's necessary to go into the cave. As cool as it is to go into the cave, I don't think it's necessary. Would like to go there. Don't think it's necessary to go there. Why are we oh, we're stopping because of the thing. Have to go to Red Heaven. Have to go here and have to go here. There is also one more thing that I would like to go visit. And that is our aluminum build. And we should probably do that here. Great. So, after we were finished, or I guess not really finished, but before we started working on all of our computers and everything else, we of course needed oil and oil-based processing. So, we needed to go and make plastic, rubber, circuit boards, etc., at a place where that kind of stuff is accessible. Which means we went over to the new biome. Good, that did not make me leave the train. The new biome up here, the Spire Coast, in order to get a ton of oil for a relatively large oil build. We got 480 or 640. I think it was 640. Or maybe even it was 960. I think it was 960 sounds more correct. Plastic and rubber per minute from, you know, not all that much crude oil input. And it was a really fun build. It's the only thing in this save file that I have actually decorated. So, yeah, there's a lot of to be decorated there, to be decorated there. There's our old coal power plant as well. You can see it just barely in the distance, but it's up here. There's not really a need to, you know, do anything with that. The Spire Coast is gorgeous. That's a 1.0 edition of the whole thing. We also have our SAM loading here, because there's an impure SAM node right there. And also some oil, because we needed weapons at the base. So oil ended up happening and coming with us on that trek. And there is the oil build. Very, very fond of the oil build. I'm going to wait until we round this corner. Okay. Plastic and rubber hauler going on its way. There we go. Now that we have rounded the corner, we will take this off of the timetable. That way we don't actually stop and load up on oil and plastic and all the things. And then this is probably close enough for our purposes at the moment. Spire Coast is gorgeous. I also still love what I did with that beacon coming out of the building like that. But we've got all of our oil, all of our plastic and rubber and all the good stuff coming off the sides. The honeycomb windows is absolutely phenomenal. But we're using the packaged fuel loop because we didn't have blenders yet, obviously. Our oil comes in and makes, in this case, rubber and heavy oil residue. Then the heavy oil residue combines with bottled water in order to make bottled fuel, packaged, whatever. Packager unpackages the fuel. Half of it goes into generators for extra power. The other half combines with the rubber over there to make plastic. And then the empty packages combine with water to make our packaged water. Then all the water is way off to the side. The subsequent floor is a little bit of a smaller build because it's only half the heavy oil residue. So we are making plastic and heavy oil residue, turning that heavy oil residue into packaged fuel using the diluted fuel recipe, unpackaging that fuel, combining with the plastic to make residual rubber, or recycled rubber, I suppose. All the overflow goes into some awesome sinks so that the system never stops and gets backlogged on anything, because it's a perfect throughput reliant system. It has to be perfect. And then, of course, the empty packages become packaged water yet again. Very nice, very good. Love the walkways, love the beacon going out of the top there. I think that's a really, really nice little design. I really liked what I did with this, for certain. And that was really the second build that we did. Also, it looks like I was right the first time. 640 split between two belts. 320 on each belt. 480 oil into each system in order to make it happen. Then... well, I guess not then. Technically, then would be the aluminum build, but that would be backtracking. So then it was the aluminum build over here, which we'll get to next. But after the aluminum build was the advanced aluminum. And the advanced aluminum build is where we are making all of our advanced aluminum processes. I can't open the codex while I'm in the train. But you'll have to take my word for it. There are things like fused modular frames, batteries, supercomputers, turbo motors, cooling systems, and I think something else. We'll find out once we get there. Up there is a Pure SAM node. That Pure SAM is actually going to end up being used in the Phase 5 build, which I guess I can talk a little bit about Phase 5 while we're on our way. So Phase 5 of the space elevator requires a lot of really big advanced components and a lot of raw input materials. Not all of those raw input materials are located here. There's no oil up here, there's a little bit here and a little bit here, but not nearly enough for our purposes. So in order to make things like plastic and rubber, and I'm even going to do oil-based diamonds for my Phase 5 build here in the Dune Desert, we need access to oil. That oil is going to come from the Crater Lake, because there's a bunch of oil right here. Take my word for it. So all of the oil that's here is going to go into plastic, rubber, and diamonds, which will then get shipped up a train line into the Dune Desert for Phase 5. Also, we need more aluminum ingots. The aluminum ingot build over here will not cut it for the aluminum ingots that we require for the Phase 5 build. So we're going to make an additional aluminum ingot processing right here on this little stretch of this little river over the void here. Because there's a pure coal node somewhere around this area, there's a bunch of bauxite in this area, and we can ship in quartz from down here. There's a couple of pure and impure nodes. And then also sulfur being input there, which we'll get to soon. I do like what I did with the floor here, and the floor is pretty much done for the advanced aluminum build. Switching gears and topics again. I like the fact that I have to go under the factory in order to enter the factory. I think that was a really cool little design choice that I made there. But, of course, no walls, and, of course, no ceiling. So we've got quite a little bit happening there. Also, the gates are still a little bit bugged. Honked. I did not mean to honk. Go ahead and turn off self-driving. So this is our advanced aluminum build. We have nitrogen gas coming in these tubes. I'm probably going to be blocking a train. I think I saw it coming in on the map. We have our plastic and rubber coming in here as well, because we needed some of that. And then, of course, we have our aluminum ingots, which we need for advanced aluminum processing. Duh. We have a little bit of iron, little bit of steel, a lot of bit of copper, and lots of caterium. Not to mention as well some pure quartz crystals, because we didn't want to use all the quartz over in that region. I think we just belted it all, yeah. And then, of course, a little bit of concrete as well, rubbing my head on the ceiling. We've also got water. Water is a big deal, because we needed lots of that. Big bus coming out the side here. I actually kind of like how it looks, apart from this top bit. I wish that top bit didn't exist, but that's okay. First things up on the list were batteries, and we're using the classic battery alternate for that, so no sulfuric acid loop or water byproduct or anything like that. Then fused modular frames happens, right? Yeah, fused modular frames. Sommers looped it, so I didn't have to make too many heavy modular frames, because they suck. Radio control units. I don't remember if I said those or not, but those are fun. And we're using the high-speed connector alternate for that. Cooling systems, which we are using the OC supercomputer for the supercomputers. So basically just copy, paste. A little different, but basically copy, paste in order to get radio control units for the OC supercomputer alternate recipe. And then the last thing is turbo motors. So again, copy, paste for the radio control units, going into the cooling system, rubber, and motor. And I think this is just the default turbo motor recipe. It is. All of those go into drones, which then go off to other places. I'm a little concerned about the fact that there are supercomputers not buffered. Makes me wonder what exactly is using that many supercomputers. Oh, I know what it is. It's tier 9. So that might be something I have to fix at some point in the future. But that's okay. I'll get there, and we'll fix it. I knew I'd be deadlocking something here. Oh, I'm really deadlocking it. Oh boy, time to test all my stuff. Let's go on ahead and go. Guess I should really get rid of that. And now we are going to our aluminum build. That train should start moving and have no problems. And then we should be able to get through this intersection still. Oh, they're both gas haulers. That's kind of funny that I blocked both of them. Okay, that's kind of cool. Still love the fact that we have to go underneath of it in order to get through. Oh good, we're going to take a bit of a scenic route. Probably up past where Orange Heaven used to be in my Update 4 playthrough. Can't believe that was years ago. I was still an undergrad when I started that. I remember playing it in the dorms. My, how far we have come. But yeah, we're going to hang right past these Titan trees. Right here is where Orange Heaven used to be. Orange Heaven is no more. We are now Red Heaven, which we will see very shortly. I will preface, I should have prefaced at the beginning of the video, but this is going to be a bit on the longer side. It's a massive playthrough. There are... Gosh, I don't even know. 137-ish hours in the playthrough. So that's pretty cool overall. Honestly, I thought it was more than that. I'm a little shocked that it wasn't more than that. Because my Factorio Space Age playthrough with achievements was like almost 200. And that was what the Welcome Back video was showcasing. Oh, are you gonna go underneath of me? You are gonna go underneath of me. Oh, I love that. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. I thought it was gonna. I was wrong. Hey, look, it's our coal power plant from the beginning of the game, making us a pitiful 3,200 megawatts. Or maybe it's 3,600. I don't actually remember. You'll notice a new split in the track here, right here. There's a split in the track. Off to the left is where we are going to be putting our aluminum build for Tier 5, or Phase 5 of the space elevator. There's also some uranium up here and some SAM, although I don't think I'll actually end up using either of those in this playthrough. There's the SAM. Right there, you can see it through the trees. Purpley stuff. And here we have our aluminum build. And off to our bottom left, we might be able to catch a glimpse of Red Heaven. Maybe. Yes. We can catch a glimpse of Red Heaven. We will be there very, very shortly. Let's go ahead and just turn it off here. Get rid of that. Save the changes. So our aluminum build imports sulfur all the way from this node right here. Then it also inputs quartz, and that quartz comes from right here. And then, of course, it outputs our aluminum ingots. It's a very, very simple design at the end of the day. It's just the quartz and silica, normal aluminum ingots in the foundry, because they're the most efficient. And then we have our most interesting bit, the instant scrap alternate recipe, where we have our bauxite coming in with sulfuric acid, water, and coal. That gets turned immediately into aluminum scrap. And then the water output is exactly the same as the sulfuric acid input. So if we just buffer a little bit of water in here, then we have a closed system, and we don't have to worry about perfect looping or anything else like that. We get to just leave it as it is right now and be perfectly fine. This makes, I believe it's 1,200 or close to 1,200. It might be 960 aluminum ingots per minute, and that is not nearly enough for our purposes, so that's why we're doing another aluminum build. Same thing with why we're doing another plastic build, because we don't have nearly enough plastic and rubber for what we need. That was just kind of a catch-all for everything else. What are we doing? Why are we going so slow? Luckily, this was an unload station, not a load station, so we're not just gonna pick up a bunch of random crap. Ah, there's Red Heaven. Red Heaven is the crown jewel of this playthrough as of yet, and I am actually going to bypass the normal station for this. Just a little bit. We're going to enjoy the train spiral as we go down. I don't know what max speed we'll end up hitting. Maybe 135 kilometers per hour? We're gonna find out, that's for sure. Whee! Hey, 135, 136! So I was almost right. Make sure we're not gonna crash into anybody. Make sure we're not gonna crash into anybody. And here we have Red Heaven. I guess technically it's not really Red Heaven anymore. It should be Rocket Heaven, would probably be more accurate. But essentially, what we're doing here is we're taking abuse, again, of the diluted fuel alternate recipe, but we're also making use of turbo fuel in the process. So, what we are doing here is we have our oil coming in and making heavy oil residue, which has a byproduct of polymer resin. That polymer resin makes fabric, because that's one of the only ways that you can automate fabric. Fabric goes into a dimensional depot, except for the stuff we don't need, so that goes into a sink instead. We have coal and sulfur being input into this system here, which makes compacted coal. We abuse the diluted fuel recipe to get twice the amount of fuel as we put heavy oil residue in, which is extremely efficient and only requires you to add water. Then this massive system here of 64 refineries, 4 rows of 16, creates a ton of turbo fuel. Then that turbo fuel gets slightly buffered down here and comes up over this way to combine with nitric acid, which is made here, with iron plates, which we will follow, and nitrogen gas, which comes from up there, in order to make rocket fuel, which is actually a gas with a byproduct of compacted coal, which we then just simply put in the sink, because we don't care about it. Then we have our massive bank of our, I think they're 200% overclocked, 250% overclocked reactors, which grant us a total of 120,000 megawatts of power. Of course, with the alien power augmenter over there, and again, no decorations on this whole part, only decorations here and here, because it was important to me. We have just an absolute surplus of energy and power. I'm throwing the logistics of the trains here into limbo by stopping in the middle of the tracks, but it was important to do. Now I believe we go on to Sydney. And Sydney is just a temporary train station name for our Tier 9 facility. But let's follow these iron plates. So they go underneath. Technically, each of these is 2 belt lengths. I just deleted one of the overhangs, so it looks nicer, but I think it looks really great. And then, of course, we just have the iron processing there. It's nothing special. I might make it into, like, a little shack or something, but for right now, it's perfect and it's quaint. And then we have Tier 9, which I made when I was in very poor spirits. So I don't actually know if it looks good or if I'm happy with how it looks, but from a distance, I do like being able to see all of the particle accelerators. So I'll probably end up just putting this thing on stilts instead of putting it in a wall. I might put like a fence around it, or something that looks like a fence, because I think that would be cool to have a fence going around it. I think that would be cool. And I think this will be the last stop. I think the other last stop is not going to be necessarily worth it. But I like how I did the trains here. Having them come in stacked like this, and then go underneath in order to loop around and then come out of the floor, saves us a little bit of horizontal space. Not much, but a little bit of horizontal space. No, 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 no. Get back here. Turn off self-driving first. But we have a ton of resources being gathered. We've got the SAM from underneath the arch. We've got the coal, caterium. I'm pretty sure we have more coal as well from over there. A bunch of iron, bunch of limestone, bunch of other stuff coming in here. And then we're also importing aluminum ingots, quartz, and more coal, because we didn't have nearly enough coal. We are making the dirty diamonds, cloudy diamonds, coal and limestone in order to make diamonds, which is nice. We've got fixite ingots being made with the caterium, so that's why the caterium is here. Then we have the copper for, I don't actually know what, I think it's just crystal oscillators, that's what it is. And then we've got iron for the reinforced iron plates, also for the crystal oscillators, of course. And then we have excited photonic matter, because we make time crystals in order to do the neural quantum processors here. And that's where the supercomputers are going. And then we also have power shards being made here. Ah, good, I disconnected that. So infinite power shards can't go into the sink, though, because that's a problem. And then we have superposition oscillators being made. This last one here at the end. Love the Aurora Borealis of that. Looks super duper cool. And yeah, I think I am happy with that. So that is the Satisfactory save as of right now. Future plans include Phase 5 and everything that goes into Phase 5. So the biomechanical smelter, or biochemical sculptor, which is assembly director systems, which are supercomputers and automated control things. Fixite trigons, so easy. Water, so easy. But biochemical sculptors, with this guy right here, the adaptive control unit, which is computers, heavy modular frames, circuit boards, and automated wiring, which I think I'm doing automated speed wiring, so high-speed connectors. Oh, which is a whole mess, and that's not the only thing that needs high-speed connectors either, by the way. Then there's also the AI expansion server, superposition oscillator, neural quantum processor, supercomputers, time crystals, magnetic field generator, so electromagnetic control rods. You start getting into a little bit of, ooh, it's not good. And the byproduct of dark matter residue, which then has to be used as input for the super position oscillators and the neural quantum processors. Kind of a problem at the end of the day. Kind of a problem. Just gonna put that out there. And then the last one is the ballistic warp drive, which is the craziest thing that we're going to have to automate by far. Because not only is the ballistic warp drive dark matter crystals, so dark matter and time crystal and everything else, it's also superposition oscillator, which is crystal oscillators and dark matter crystals, and singularity cells, which is dark matter crystals and nuclear pasta, which we all know, nuclear pasta, copper powder, pressure conversion cube, which is radio control unit and fused modular frame. There's a lot of shit that goes into this one, for sure, a lot of shit that goes into this one. But then also the thermal propulsion rocket, which is modular engine turbo motor, cooling system, fused modular frames. Turbo motor, everybody knows how complicated turbo motors are. It was the final product in the game for years. But then also modular engine, which is rubber, more motors, and smart plating. There's a lot of stuff that's going to go into it. So it's no wonder that we need enough processing in order to get oil done here, aluminum done here, and then the final bit of processing done all the way up here. So to lay out a little bit of a plan in terms of stream and layout from here out, we're going to start with something easy so I can ease myself back into Satisfactory. We're going to do that by doing the aluminum processing here first, because that's going to be super easy. I mean, you saw the aluminum factory. We're copy-pasting this with different ratios, different numbers. Super easy. Then we're going to do plastic, rubber, and diamonds from oil over here in the Blue Crater Lake. You saw how decently simple that was. There's a lot of balancing and stuff that has to go on, but it's not that difficult. So we can do that, and we can do it with blenders. And then we're going to tackle the big beast. There's going to be a lot of smelting, a lot of ore gathering, a lot of everything else to get the iron, copper, deuterium, coal, limestone, and SAM required to do all that processing up here. Not to mention as well the inputs from these two satellite factories that are going to have satellite portals involved. Singularity cells need to get done so that we can actually do that at some point. And then, of course, the actual processing of all of those materials needs to take place. So we still have a long way to go in this save, and that's not the last project I want to do, but I'm going to save that for another day. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, but without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Have yourselves all a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video's in the bag. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.